Imagine, if you can, for a moment, this incredibly popular young man. He's popular with everyone. He has no name. He has no home. Yes, I'm talking about Daniel the Beagle. He's inspired you already, but the fact of the matter is that at one point in his life, in October of 2011, he was in this most unfortunate situation. He was placed into a gas chamber with 17 other dogs. Horrible situation. Nothing short of horrific. 20 minutes, carbon monoxide gas is poured into this gas chamber. When this happens across our country, dogs and cats simply do not live through it. When the door opened, Daniel was alive and wagging his tail. He had overcome the most incredible toxin there is, carbon monoxide gas. He set a standard for overcoming obstacles in life, and he set a standard for being popular. Because yes, when you survive the gas chamber like he did, you become popular. But his popularity is what we're going to talk about in our time together and what it means to every single one of us. But first, a little bit about this popularity. He was on the Anderson Cooper Show. He was on Good Morning America. He was on the Today Show. He was on every network news and many different newspapers and internet articles across the world. He was the featured dog, yes, a featured dog on a float in the Rose Parade, which takes place on New Year's Day, where he waved to literally millions of people on the streets and something like 1 billion people who watch it all over the world. You have the capability of looking that up on the internet, so you could determine the real number, but it's really about 1 billion, believe it or not. And then he got to kiss Crystal Hefner. Now you need to do a little research on that. Crystal Hefner is the wife of Hugh Hefner, which, again, do your own research. But the bottom line is this dog has kissed more pretty women than I ever will in my life. And he looks at me with this saying as if to say, yeah, not you, me. I kiss the pretty women. Reality, this dog has set a real positive life example for all of us to overcome toxins in our life. I have thousands of emails and articles from people and letters that talk about not only animals that have been adopted because of him, but how about people who have overcome things in their life they never thought they would. I've had people say to me that they had a awful illness and they got through it because they were inspired by Daniel. I had a woman write to me and say, I had a really hard time accepting certain people in my life, but because of Daniel's story, I'm a different person now. Talk about overcoming obstacles because he lived through the gas chamber and conquered the ultimate toxin. Daniel survives the toxin of the gas chamber. Now, you and I are not going to face that toxin in our life, or I sincerely doubt that we will. Arguably, we face an even more dangerous toxin, or toxins, in the emotional toxins that could take over our life. Emotional toxins that sometimes we don't even realize that they're having the effect on us that they are. But the effect can be very damaging and really put us in a difficult place that none of us want to be in. And I'm going to go out on a real short limb because it's not too far of a stretch to say that every single one of us deals with these emotional toxins. Now, let me name a few. Self-doubt. We all have moments of self-doubt. Some of them are put upon us by others. Most of them are put upon us by ourselves. And then there's comparing to others. We live in a society that we compare ourselves constantly to others in all aspects of life. Then there's conflicts with family, with friends. They're a part of life. But they happen, and they really can take us off track on places we want to go. And finally, the one that I think we could relate to the most is the pressure to succeed. And sometimes when I hear those words, I want a definition of success. Because what does it really mean? It means a different thing to every person. But no, the pressure to succeed is upon every single one of us. Like it's some kind of a universal thing. And there's many others. I'm just tossing out a few so that we can get going here. But I'm willing to bet that when you heard some of those emotional toxins, they started to eat into your stomach a little bit. I know they eat into my stomach just talking about them. And yes, I still deal with them too. And now it's time to take them on. Daniel and his canine friends have a unique feature about them that you may not know about. You see, dogs have an incredibly fast digestive system. So fast, in fact, that they really can't get food poisoning because things roll through their system so quickly. Now, when Daniel first came, he was a little bit of a troublemaker. And one day I came into the TV room and I noticed that he had eaten part of the remote control for the television. Yes, it was gone. But I saw it again. I saw it the next morning when he was out going to the bathroom. Now, I don't think you want me to go any further. I think you get the idea here. But out it went. Now for the good news, because that's really not good news, especially if you had to clean it up like I did. The good news is that we can learn from this, because not only do dogs whip through these bad things that they take in and eat out through their system, they take in the emotional difficulties like we do, but we keep them churning through our stomachs and our insides and our emotional self, where they flush it right through. And that's how we're gonna tackle these emotional toxins in our life. Now, let me tell you a quick story. I'm a third-degree martial arts black belt. I've been studying for almost 30 years, believe it or not. But when I got my first-degree black belt, I was feeling really good about myself. I had got my first-degree black belt, and I was feeling really cool. I had this new belt with my name inscribed in Japanese on it and all this stuff. And I was sitting one day watching some students who were junior to me. Why should I pay attention to them, right? But all of a sudden, and I think you understand this point a little bit, when somebody's looking at you and you feel their eyes are burning right through you, because you know you're doing something maybe you shouldn't be doing, that was my instructor who called me out and said, Senpai Joe, which means senior student Joe, if you think for one moment that you can't learn from everyone else, even those that are junior to you, you're making a big mistake in your life. That story is 25 years plus old, but I remember it today for the impact it had on me, and we're going to now take it forward, and we're going to commit to learning from these dogs, because they're going to teach us about flushing through emotional toxins and being much more joyful, happier people in our life, in whatever we do. And here's the best news of all. We're going to take this real cool concept. They're going to save us and help us. And then the millions, yes, millions that are out there that need help from us, we're going to turn around and paw it back forward to them, and we're going to save them too. Let's do it.